A beautiful good morning to you. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and just lit the stove. So I'm waiting for the water to heat up, and then I'm going to go and have a shower, and then head off to Belfast. But I wanted to make this video, which I will probably upload in Belfast. I'm not sure. I'll see how time goes. But just to show you how much work I managed to get done yesterday and who's going to finish it off. So, I'll start here. So I've been spreading the gravel. Oh, by the way, someone asked me, or someone mentioned on the comment section yesterday, that they thought that the truck was just, dropping the gravel off as it went up the driveway. Well, I couldn't afford that. I could afford to buy 2-ton bags, and they were €79 each. So that's €158. And then delivery charge, which is 20, so that's €178. I couldn't afford to buy more than that. And if it had been spread just en masse up along the driveway, it would probably have cost me at least 3 times that amount. So I am having to be very frugal with it, as with everything else in my life. Frugality is the common theme. Okay, so you can see here I've been clearing a lot of the dead leaves and putting them out underneath the trees over there, and clearing up the path and laying a new section of gravel, which will give me quite a lot of bite for walking on in the coming summer and coming year. And been a wee bit sparse with it going round that way, but I may put down a little bit more. Brought it up to the door and just along here. Now I'd love to have enough gravel to do the whole front of the driveway, because it's a wee bit slippy, but you can see where the earth is coming up through the gravel there. Anyway, I'm not going to give it a thought just at the moment. So that's looking pretty good. Bringing it along here. By laying the gravel just down along the tracks, you can see, started here, but I would like to bring the gravel up a little bit further. And again, having to be sparse with it. But this is basically where it starts down here. This is where it was needed the most. So I'll take you down. I mean, you can see from there just how much gravel is needed there. But we're talking about another, well, possibly a ton. A ton bag would probably do that. Anyway. I have only got to where I am at this point in time through being extremely frugal, all the way down through the 14 years now that I've been here. This is my 15th year, by the way, coming up. The middle bit, which is the grassy bit, has been a bit ploughed up by the truck, but that's okay because all that will green up again. Isn't it lovely to hear the crunch of the gravel? I was lying in bed this morning thinking, that roof could do with a complete overhaul. But this is what happens, you see, when you start tarting things up a bit. The plans grow ever bigger and bigger, and you have to really, cut yourself off at the pass there, because if you don't, things get out of control, which is what has happened out there in the big world. We have an out of control Western population who want bigger and better. Bigger and better. And it goes on and on and on. So look, there's an abrupt end here. So I basically have enough gravel to do the rest of this driveway, just going down along the tracks. And look how nice it looks. Brings a lot of light down onto the driveway, doesn't it? I'll just walk down to the bottom here. Got to get back into that pond because the pondweed is creeping in from the perimeter, so I need to cut that off with the pass as well. Hey, mind you, look what I've got. And I'm still in my gym jams. Got my wellies on though. It's a beautiful morning. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning. Look at these little trees coming on. You see, I'm not averse to Sitka Spruce, I just don't want them everywhere. But these three little babies, I pulled these up on a walk a couple of years ago, and that was just a stony outcrop there. And I just sort of sat them in there, you know, surrounded by leaves and cuttings, and you can see how I'm building up the border just with leaves and cuttings. Now that looks weird, doesn't it? The tracks. So I'm going to bring the gravel right out here to the edge of the road. I must empty the post box, there's something in there. Come on, Jack. See where the truck has had difficulty navigating. Oh, there's something here that looks like a lottery card or something. Oh. 10 million all cash spectacular. Well, someone didn't win. That must have been the delivery driver. Must have fell out of the cab. Come on, Jack. So I'm looking forward now to getting away for a couple of days. I'm going to be back on Saturday. Today's Thursday. And I feel very energised now to get planting, put some more trees in, continue in the great January tidy up. Look at the beautiful lichens on there. That's a sight for sore eyes. Not beautiful. Oh, gone a bit blurry. When you look at the warmth of colour and the warmth of habitat in here, and then you look out on the field to what it was before, the field of grass and rushes, that's so much of the land here. And of course this is North County Roscommon, just on the border with County Leitrim. So the land is quite poor. But it's only poor because it hasn't been, I won't say it hasn't been looked after. It's poor because it's been degenerated. which is, you know, it's what happens when you take trees off a landscape. It's as simple as that. Look at the moors in England. Look at the Burren in County... I mean, the Burren is a limestone outcrop now. It was once a forest. Can you imagine the Burren as a forest? This is what most of Ireland should look like. This is what most of the Western world should look like. But it's not going to look like this because we have this notion in our heads that we need to be eating lots and lots of meat. I mean, there are something in the... well, less than 5... no, I think it's 4.5 million people in the Republic of Ireland here. There are over 7 million cows. It's not even taking into account the sheep or the goats or the hens. Logistics, that's what I'd say to anyone, you know, questioning that. Just work it out. Work it out for yourself. If I had wanted to keep a few cattle on here, I couldn't have planted any trees at all. 3 acres will support maybe 2 cows, but not with trees. And so it means that we have to have a different way of looking at the world, and it's a bit like it's a bit like myself with my inbuilt frugality button. You know, of course it would have been much easier to have had the same truck coming up this drive, just slowly dumping off the gravel all the way up. So this task would have been done in a very short space of time. But that would have incurred a massive amount of waste. Waste of gravel. So with a little bit of you know, labour input, which is after all what we're built for, excuse me, as human beings. We're not built to sit in front of televisions. Just like, you know, zombified morons staring at a screen. We're built to interact with Mother Earth. And those that do are all the happier for it, wouldn't you agree? And those who don't are usually unhappy. So, I've had to stop myself there because I felt a little bit of a rant coming on. Anyway, so who's going to finish this job off? Well, my daughter, who's coming to stay. As you know, I've got 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful son. Well, my daughter who's coming to stay and whom Jack is particularly fond of. Yes, you little traitor. He loves Cara. She said, Mum, I'll finish this off. So I thought, oh, there's an offer I'm not going to refuse. Well, if I was here, I would refuse it, you know. I'd say, no, I'll do it myself. But, because I actually enjoy being out doing this. I got such a buzz out of this, you know, yesterday. I stayed out until 5 o'clock in the evening, and it was just, you know, the twilight was fading. Could barely see, but I just stayed out that long because it was wonderful to be out. Fantastic. Loved it. So, do you know, I'm looking at the top of this driveway and I'm thinking to myself, I've got to have some more gravel down on here. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, there's another possible plan I could implement. Yeah. I could order one more bag from Ard Carn to be dropped off down at the gate. And then the driveway could be finished from that bag. And then what is up here in this bag could do the top part of the driveway. So that would mean telling Cara to hold fire and not to be spreading any more of the gravel down that way, and just to leave things as they are. I'll spread the gravel up around here because I enjoy doing it. And when the third bag comes, it wouldn't take me long working it out from there. Yeah, that's an option. Okay, watch this space. Now I've got to wash my car before I head off to Belfast because it's filthy. And I don't want to be looking like the poor country cousin as I enter Belfast. So I'll give that a jolly good wash. I've got just out here by the water barrels, so it's easily enough done. And I've got a big long soft brush that I use, just for washing the car. It's very simple, it only takes me about 10 minutes. And just some ordinary soap. I don't use anything special, just ordinary soap. You can see the wood smoke coming up out of the chimney there. So the water should be nicely heated. We'll give it another half hour, I think. So what do you reckon on this second notion? To get a third sack and have it delivered just down at the gate, so the truck doesn't have to come up here, and use what's left in that sack over there to do this, because this looks very unsightly, and it's a wee bit dangerous as well, because look, it's got muddy, so therefore it's going to be slippy. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. That sounds like a plan. It's lovely gravel, really is gorgeous. So I've got a wee bit left in that bag, and I've got this. Yeah. Right, okay. Plan ticked off. Definitely going to go for it. There's the flowers and the quince coming out. And as I was clearing the dead foliage away, oh, it's gone now. Oh no, there it is. Well, there's one of them. Oh, sorry, let me just holding on to this little lens cover. Okay, can you see the little quince from last year down there? So I've got to trim off all the little straggly bits coming out. And there's a slight mizzle. Someone asked me yesterday what a mizzle was. Well, it's one of my, I think it's one of my made up words, as I've never seen it being used, although it's being used now. You know how words are picked up. Actually it's something that my grandmother used to refer to up in Oma. She'd say, oh, it's a bit of an old mizzle. So a mizzle is something between a sort of a damp fog and a drizzle. So it's hardly perceptible. But if you stay out in it long enough, it'll make your clothes very, very damp. I could also do spreading some of that nice gravel around the back as well. Yes. So I'm feeling very excited now and very uplifted and very energised, and I don't really want to, go to Belfast at this point in time because I'd rather stay here and get stuck in. But at the same time, I want to see my granddaughter, so I'm going to go off and just enjoy the few days it's in it, make the most of it, and come back all energised on Saturday, probably Saturday early afternoon, and just get stuck in. It's great, isn't it? It's great when you feel you're on a bit of a mission, Now, I've also been thinking about this little bed here, which is struggling because of the weeds, and because of a bit of neglect last summer. See, this is my Lunacy garden, which I'm still tidying up, but it's taken shape. You can see shapes in it, which is the first thing I look for in a garden, is the shapes. And once I see the shapes beginning to establish themselves and come up, then you get sort of an overall picture. It's a bit like, when a jigsaw puzzle starts to emerge, you get that picture and you think, right, now I know where I'm going with this. So what I'm going to do here, this is my plans in my head anyway. The mulberry tree that I planted over there in the corner, which I spent a fortune on in the garden centre, it's kind of struggling, but I'm going to leave it there for this year. I'm going to prune back the red currant and the black currant on these sides. I'm going to flatten this bed out because I've dumped a lot of kind of stuff on the top of it, and so I'm going to flatten that out. I'm going to move the rhubarb. So what I intend doing is putting the rhubarb, I think, possibly down here on the edge of the fruit bushes, down along there, and then building a few raised beds, perhaps perhaps 3 raised beds going along here, sort of, from the path over to the little hedge. So that's a plan. That's a plan. Let's see how that goes. Because the raised beds should work. But I won't do them in stone. I will actually get some wood and build them. Of course, they're very, very simple to do. But if you put down a good cardboard mulch underneath, and then you start building it up with layers and layers of shreddings, from my garden shredder, then, and bark. So I might get a few sacks of bark to do the paths. Anyway, I've got a few ideas for there. Need to cut back quite a lot of the raspberries along here and the black currants. Continuing the tidy up, and then I want to dig in along the edges just to smarten them up a little bit. The edges here aren't too bad. Can probably get away with not doing that this year. There's the Crocosmia Montbretia coming up. I will have to get the big ladder set up and give this a good old prune. Because it's got far too big for its boots. The depth of it now must be about, let me see, gosh, it must be about 10 feet in depth. So that needs to be just curtailed a little bit. I see some water on the lens, so I think I'll stop at this point. Very happy with my pyramid. It'll be for sweet peas. I think I'll sow some sweet peas as well when I come back. That's something else I shall do. Sow some sweet peas, get them started early. Because the earlier you start them off, the stronger the plant, especially if you start them off in the cold weather. And you know, there's a lot of people say, oh, well, you can't really start seedlings like that off. You know, you should have done it before Christmas. Well, you see these clear plastic boxes, of which I have many in the shed there. I'm going to be using those as little insulation boxes for starting off seeds. I seen something on YouTube from a Swedish gardener, what she calls Sarah. Oh, it was my daughter actually who gave me the link. I'm very, very impressed by her work. I'll find the link and I'll tell you a little bit more about it once I get the link that I can post it. So remind me if I don't come back to you on this. But she's a very inspirational gardener. I like her style because she challenges, you know. Like myself, she doesn't accept the status quo in anything. She wants to see if it can be done. If something can be done better, if something can be worked out that, you know, gardeners have said is impossible. I mean, look at Belfast Cottage. I was told there was no way, you know, you could grow anything half decent here. And I mean, look at it. And listen to it. That's more to the point. So look, on that note, I'm going to stop now because I need to go in and pull myself together. I've got a shower to have, I've got, you know, hair to wash and then style, and I've got clothes to pick out that I'm going to travel up in, because I'm not going up there in my old jeans. You know, and one has to make the most of a little outing. Belfast is a lovely little outing. So blessings to you all, and have a lovely day.